Hello everyone, my name is Clarissa for anyone who's new to my Periscopes, and I help busy college girls get better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life. A little story about me: I was originally a bio major and I ended up failing out of that bio major because I could not pass chemistry, physics, or calculus. I actually failed out of those courses multiple times, and then I decided that I was going to go on to nursing school, and I graduated from nursing school this past December with honors. And what I wanted to share with you today is that your journey to getting better grades and your journey to graduating with honors doesn't mean that every single exam you're going to get a 90% or higher. You're going to struggle. There are going to be points in your college career, like I call it, that you're not going to get the grades that you want, but you have to prioritize what is important to you. You can be the student that spends all day and all night in the library stressing out about the exam and constantly studying and reading and doing all these assignments, or you can be the student who takes it easy and approaches school with a more feminine approach, a more apologetic, nurturing, self-care type of mentality, where you might not be receiving those super high marks, but you're more well-rounded overall. And my first year of nursing school, I was the student that approached college with that very masculine, driven, ambitious, like work hard, never sleep kind of approach. And what ended up happening when I went through nursing school with that manner is that I had a major breakdown and a major panic attack within one of those semesters during my first year of nursing school. And that really kind of woke me up to the approach that I was taking to college. Yes, sometimes grades matter, but sometimes they don't. And honestly, what you have to decide as a person is what's important to you. So are you the student that has to get all A's? Are you the student that prefers to get better grades, decent grades for you? And you have to define what those grades are, what that good grade is to you. And for everyone, it's not going to be an A. For some people, it's just going to be to freaking pass the class. So a C+ is just as good. And C's get degrees, guys. C's get degrees. So what I wanted to do was actually show you one of the semesters where I started approaching college with the more feminine mentality. So I was a lot more focused on making sure that I was well taken care of and that I was still studying, but I wasn't studying as hard. I wasn't cared so much about the grade. I just wanted to get the most out of college. I wanted to get the most out of my clinicals as a nurse. I wanted to get the most out of life, and I wanted to make sure that everything was balanced. And I'm going to show you the grades that I got on each of these exams. Then I'm going to share with you the grade that I got on the final exam, and I'm going to tell you what my overall grade was. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that these grades are the grades that I got without points being added. So a lot of the times in nursing school, most students do really bad on the exams, and so they end up adding points to our exams. And so I always write down my original grade, so the grade that I got without points being added, because to me, that's a true reflection of how well I grasped the information. Whether or not the questions themselves were tricky or not, or whether or not they scaled, to me, that's the true reflection of what I understood and got out of those exams. So here we go. This was my third semester of nursing school, so within my second year, and exam number 1, I got a 78% without points being added. And this is my my final exam cram sheet that I create for myself. So I just, whenever I study for a final exam, I put all notes on just one page. On exam 2, I got a 78%. Exam 3, I actually failed. I got a 74.9. And in my nursing school, in order to pass, you have to get a 75 or higher on your exams. So I was off literally by 1 point. But then we got points added, and I think I ended up with like an 80-something on this exam. But this was my true grade. Like I said, I don't count the points that were added after they scale the exam. The fourth exam, I got a 76 0.3 without points being added. So as you can see, without points being added on every single exam, I got a C. On my final exam, I got an 88, which to me means that I got a full understanding of everything that was covered in the class, that I truly grasped all of the main concepts, all of the main information that was required of me in order to be considered competent or a safe nurse. Because a cumulative exam where you're being tested on all of the knowledge that you got during the semester, the grade that you get on that exam, to me, is a better reflection of how well you grasp the information than individual exams, because you're basically being asked to remember and recall everything that you learned throughout the semester. And most students do worse on the final exam than they do during the whole semester, because they don't have their study methods don't allow them to truly grasp the information. Instead, what they're doing is just memorizing information for a short period of time, that upcoming exam, instead of trying to really focus on understanding the logic, the rules, and the why behind the information that they're learning. And when you do that, that's when you can then get a higher grade on your final or stay consistent with your final exam. But what I wanted to just say with this Periscope, and my whole point of it, is that your success in college is determined by what you define it to be. And what I mean by that is, some students define college success based off of whether or not they graduated summa cum laude, whether or not they got invited to the Honor Society, whether or not they got an A in every single class. There are other students who define their college success based on the relationships that they made, the internships that they got, and getting decent grades. And a decent grade means not failing, right? So it's up to you how you want to approach college. You can take it the masculine approach, where you're driven, ambitious, work hard, play later kind of approach, where you're kind of just running yourself ragged into the ground and not allowing yourself to live and be apologetic. Or you can approach college with the more feminine approach, which is by being caring with yourself, by being apologetic, by being more nurturing, and allowing yourself to feel and to experience life and not be so goal-oriented and not be so driven, and allow yourself to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and feel okay and have a more well-rounded approach to college. And that is what I did my second year of nursing school. And I ended up graduating nursing school with honors. And my overall grade at the end of the semester, the grade that counts, that goes towards your GPA, was never lower than a B. And I didn't study as much as I was studying before. I wasn't so driven and ambitious and just like school focus. I focused more on really taking care of myself, making sure that my mind was in the right place, making sure that I was taking care of me as a person. And as a result of that, I had a more enjoyable college experience my second year in nursing school. And I was the student that was like really happy and really like full of energy and really positive. A lot of people came to me for advice because of my approach. And that's really what I just wanted to talk about today. And I wanted to show you that the road to honors isn't always going to look like how everyone makes it appear, where you're studying constantly, you're working really hard constantly. You can achieve better grades. You can achieve a successful college career without always getting A's. But what it's going to take is for you to change your mindset around what college success means to you. And I always tell everybody to, before you start college, really try to think about what it is that you want to get out of it. Because the reason why we go to college is, one, because we think that we're supposed to, or two, because we want to, at the end of it, land a dream job. And you have to understand what it really takes to get that dream job. And most of the time, it's not the people that get all A's that get the job. It's the people that are well-rounded, that network, that have positive mindsets, and that put themselves out there and are not just grade-oriented. These are the people that take their personality and sell themselves. And they might not necessarily be the most smartest kid in class. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I am going to run off because it doesn't look like anyone has questions. I don't even know if anyone's on. But if anyone liked what I was talking about, you can follow me here on Periscope by swiping up if you are on an iPhone and swiping right or left if you're on an Android. And you can find out more about me, more of my videos by going to girlbudgetlife.com. And yeah, I teach busy college girls how to get better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.